So in this video here, we will address, obviously, as you can see here, how do you optimize your sleep for much more energy and just overall well-being and drive. Again, I think sleep is one of those that's kind of like neglected a lot, especially when we're talking about fitness results and just in general overall well-being. We kind of know, okay, if you're gonna sleep is good for us, but I don't think we talk enough about it, and I don't think we are valuing it enough. We just think it's kind of like a thing that's just there, like eating or breathing or having a shower or brushing your teeth. But really diving into this topic here, I promise you, right? I promise you, if you're taking something away from this program here, is that thing. It's to getting your sleep right. Is to really optimizing your sleep and utilizing that in its best way possible. So what I will share with you in this video here is kind of like some basic simple things you can do in order to have a better night's sleep. So the first thing is picking a bedtime and picking a wake up time. So again, there's been lots of different studies showing like how much sleep we need. Is it 7 hours, 7.5 hours? Is it 8 hours? Is it even less? And again, this is very individual for a lot of people. I don't want to say to you, okay, you're going to have 8 hours because 8 hours is what we've been taught for many years that we need to have. You might be at 6 hours and 45 minutes and you feel amazing waking up in the morning. So what I kind of like want you to go in and dive into is to start with your bedtime. When do you want to go to bed at nighttime? When is a natural good time for you to go to bed every single night? Because naturally you will start finding your natural time that you will wake up in the morning. Personally, for me, I like roughly around 7.5, 8 hours of sleep. I love that. I will probably wake up around those 7.5, 7 hours and 45 minutes. And I wake up naturally, and that's where I feel the best, right? So naturally, if I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock, I will wake up roughly about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I feel on fire. See, the point with this point here is that you're doing it consistently. Also on the weekends. And that's the hard one for a lot of people because they are going out, they're going to bed later, then they're waking up a lot later, then they're spending Sunday night, they can't go to bed, and they're spending Monday, Tuesday getting back on track again. So just by that simple advice here, by picking a set bedtime and a set wake up time, you will get into a much more consistent good flow because again, your sleep and your body, it loves predictability. It loves like routines. It loves the same thing again and again and again. And that's where you will just experience like a completely different feeling over time by you just sticking to the same routines. And again, let's say you're going out on the weekend, you're out restaurants, whatever, you have some alcohol and these sort of things, and you're not getting to bed by 12 o'clock. That's completely fine. We all have these days. But what I want you to do then is to kind of like get up at roughly the same time as you usually would do, even if you're getting an hour or an hour and a half less sleep. But you can simply just catch up again by having a nap later on in the day. So the next thing I want you to do here now is to take your phone and all electronic out at least 1 hour before bedtime. See, again, when we're sitting with our phones and we're sitting with our TVs and laptops and these sort of things there, we get a lot of light, we get a lot of blue light, and that sends signals to the brain that, okay, now it's time to wake up, right? It's producing different chemicals in your brain to now wake you up. Right? So if you're laying with your phone at nighttime in bed and you're simply just laying with it and you're scrolling on social media and you're dozing off and you're falling asleep, that's not the right way for you to go to bed, and you're missing out on the melatonin production and these sort of like natural chemicals your brain is producing at nighttime for you to have a deeper sleep, for you to have more restful sleep. You're basically robbing yourself of that production of melatonin and these chemicals in your brain, so your sleep is not being as deep and as restful as possible, right? Another thing about it is obviously, if you're sitting with your social media, you're sitting with your work emails and these sort of things there, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think you will be more relaxed, ready to go to bed, or do you think you'll be stimulated, more excited, or maybe even stressful? What do I have to do tomorrow? I have to do this. Like, did I forget to do this thing there? What about this picture? Like. Oh, I didn't get as many likes on that photo. What can I do tomorrow? Like, we're getting into that stressful moment at nighttime. And we don't want that. So a good rule for you is simply just to cut everything up at least an hour to 2 before. No more work 2 hours before bed, right? No more phone and no more like laptops and these sort of things right off before you go to bed. Simply by doing that, you just allow yourself to get into a better state before you're going to bed. And that leads me into the third point, and it's really to set up your environment comfortably. Like having your bedroom nice, right? Having some nice pillows, a nice cushion, like have a little diffusion, nice little lamps, some plants or something in there, and just make your bedroom like a comfortable and safe environment that you go there to relax, right? Rooms are holding energy. So if you're sitting and working with your laptop in your bedroom, you're creating a different energy in your bedroom, right? I've tried it firsthand myself. Like I had sleep issues for 6 months' time because I lived in a very noisy environment, right? I worked, it was a tiny apartment. So I worked a lot of like I worked with my work in different rooms and stuff, and I didn't really keep it separate. And over time, the rooms in the apartment just built up so much energy that I was like, I felt it straight away when I walked in the door, right? I felt it when I walked into the rooms. It was not restful. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel relaxed in the rooms because there's been so many things happening in this environment. So whether you believe that or not, rooms and places can keep energy, right? Energy stays in these pockets for whatever meaning we associate it with the different rooms there. So again, keep your room nice, comfortably safe, cozy, have some lamps, diffusion, some certain things in there to bring the environment to the best place possible so you can have a nice and relaxful sleep. And that leads me to the fourth one. And that's basically a little bit like we covered about before, is to empty your worries before you go to bed. And this is why I'm using my journal every single night to write about my day, what went well, what do I need to do tomorrow? Because we all tried it, right? We're laying down and then boom, the brain turns on, right? We just can't we can't settle down. We can't relax. We're just thinking about all the things we have to do tomorrow. We just maybe thinking about if we don't get a good night's sleep, I won't be able to do this tomorrow. We're already building up pre-stress before it's even there. We all tried it, right? This is why emptying your worries before bed is very, very beneficial and a super, super good little tactic, right? So again, just set up the environment for cozy. This is what I do when I go in here, 10 minutes before bed, I sit down and write out my things that I have to do tomorrow or the things I did well today, to simply just have like a stop and a reset before you go to bed. So simply having that little reset, that little tactic, that little place at nighttime where you're just emptying your thoughts, emptying your worries, and you're now going into bed with a clean thought. So a last little one here is kind of like a little additional side sort of thing you can implement in here. Again, we're already training right now, right? We're doing the nutrition, we're doing all these sort of things that also have a positive effect on your sleep. But researchers have actually shown that if you're doing your exercise in the morning, right? They've shown over research compared to people doing the exercises at nighttime that you will have a much, much deeper sleep by doing your exercises in the morning. Right? Doing your exercise in the morning. But now we're talking about small, teeny, tiny percentages here right now. So if you're just focusing on, obviously you're doing the day, you're doing your programs, you're doing your training, you're having healthy nutritional food, you're not doing a high intensity workout 20 minutes before you go to bed. Like if you're just having that in mind and you can take it off, you're on track to have a much, much better sleep there. So again, I really hope this video here was just some tangible things you can do. Empty your worry, right? Write your thoughts down, set up the environment so it's nice, right? Like really just sort of like working on not using your phone and working leading up to, and then having set bedtime and wake up time to have that consistency in there. So you ultimately can have a good night's sleep, a much deeper sleep. And again, having that rest and having that energy for the next day so you can go out and achieve and improve on your fitness results.